as somebody who came to America not simply as an immigrant, but as a refugee fleeing the war, chaos in Europe, what you think when you hear President Trump use some of the language that he does about immigrants?
Well, I'm appalled, but let me just, something that my father used to say. When we were in England, he would say, were very kind. They would come up and they'd say, "We're so sorry your country's been taken over by a terrible dictator. You're welcome here. What can we do to help you, and when are you going home?" When we came to the United States, people said, "We're so sorry your country's been taken over by a terrible system. You're welcome here. What can we do to help you, and when will you become a citizen?" And my father said that is what made America different from every country. And so for me, when I see what is happening now, I consider it an outrage. This country is based on diversity and people coming here and being proud to be Americans. And one of the things that I love to do is do naturalization ceremonies. I can't swear people in because I'm not an officer of the law, but I can give them their naturalization certificates. And the first time I did it was July 4th, 2000 at Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's home. And I figured since I had his job, I could go and do that. I gave people their naturalization certificates, and all of a sudden I hear this man saying, "Can you believe I'm a refugee, and I just got my citizenship paper, naturalization papers from the Secretary of State?" And I went up to him and I said, "Can you believe a refugee is Secretary of State?" And so when I think about what really people want to do and contribute and be a part of this country, the stunning number recently is we have deplored what in fact happened in Syria, where people were destroyed with it or suffered from a chemical attack. The number of Syrians that have been able to come to the United States is less than the number of people that were affected by that chemical weapon. So really terrible in terms of, I have traveled around the United States a lot. We are a very large country. We have a lot of room. And I think people should be welcomed here, having been vetted in a number of different ways, but really to be welcoming, because that is what this country is based on. So I think it is un-American and appalling what is happening. And then the other thing is, we can't tell other countries what to do if we aren't showing some kind of leadership in this. And one of the issues, as we get more into what I think is happening in Europe, a lot of it has to do with the fact that migrants, refugees, are not welcomed. And if we want to tell the Europeans to take more, how can we possibly do that if we are banning certain people? Some of them is very specifically against Muslims, and just generally, I think, un-American.